There are reasons homelessness and unemployment remain such a problem in America. Among the reasons is the minimum wage, which restricts employers from hiring people that have issues or problems like homeless people. I am sad to say this, but the risk for hiring at minimum wages and the ability of some persons to adequately perform, even at minimum wage rates, is a problem. There are people who are not worth payment of minimum wages because of physical, mental, sociological, and other reasons. Minimum wages have been a problem since the minimum wages were mandated by our government. There have always been people that could not perform well enough in their work to warrant minimum wages. Yes, the government has basically mandated employers must pay the minimum wage regardless of the employee's ability to perform work worthy of the minimum wage pay rate. Over the years, the minimum wage has grown even higher, and with each increment upward in the rate, there is an increase in unemployable people. The minimum wage requirement is counterproductive for hiring people and influencing international trade. The largest employers in America now are the part-time and contract employment agencies. Yes, companies that only supply part-time labor and contract labor are among the largest employers in America and have been since the 1970s. Free markets should determine wage rates. People who have been worth their wages to employers have always made more than a minimum wages in all areas of employment. Minimum wage regulations lock out the homeless, students, and all manner of uneducated and unskilled persons. Minimum wage rates have lowered the standard for employees basically to the levels of just labor or semi-skilled employees. Many large employers pay only minimum wages and provide some type of performance incentives for their best workers. Employers need to staff their businesses and are compelled to have employees on hand to sufficiently run their businesses, but they work around the minimum wage requirements cleverly. Many small business owners only allow employees to work 2 or 3 days a week, and they pick up the slack by themselves. There are many of these types of employers. Employers have to employ persons in such fashion as to stay in business and make a profit. Federal mandated minimum wage requirements apply to most all American employers with few exceptions. Minimum wage mandates affect new business startups and most small businesses. Small businesses cannot afford to pay minimum wages in many instances. In addition to the minimum wage rate, employers must add Social Security, unemployment insurance, workman's compensation insurance, and other costs of employment. The government regulations and laws regarding the payment of employment taxes and timely reporting of payroll information are so vigorously prosecuted by the IRS that most small business employers are compelled to use employment payroll services. The required government forms and compliance regulations are so complex, it is beyond the scope of most small business owners to be in compliance and continuously be accurate. The average cost of making one check administratively within a small business or by a payroll service can easily be $35 or more per each check. Yes, the administration and reporting of payroll is extremely expensive. They are very complicated, and their respective government agencies have exorbitant penalties for non-conforming compliance to their regulations on reporting and payment of employment. These extra costs push the minimum wages of workers far and above the published minimum wage rates. Many small businesses cannot pay minimum wage rates on full-time employees. They can only afford to pay those wage rates on a temporary basis for short-term work duties. It is common practice for small businesses, especially among closely held family businesses, for them to hire family members and only hire contract labor when they need extra help. Most small businesses hire as many family employees as possible because they can offset and make a living for the family. Family members work together and often make close to minimum wage, but the money is held within the family for the good of all. Small businesses hire contract labor to avoid the cost of administration, government regulations, and taxation. Contract labor is usually paid a contract rate, which is generally more than mandated minimum wages. The advantage to the employer? The employers don't have all the burden of keeping employment records, taxation, insurance, and other government compliance restrictions. Contract hiring is an accepted way of doing business for employers in America. Even the large Fortune 500 companies have contract workers in large numbers working for them. Contract labor has become a way of life in America, and with all the new regulations being imposed upon employers, it will continue to become more prevalent. Minimum wage mandates not only affect the homeless and other Americans personally, but they affect international trade as well. Free markets drive wage rates in China, India, and other nations with whom America trades. Government interference in labor and wages is a huge problem for American companies trying to compete in free markets and international trade. Congress knows of the problems with minimum wage mandates, as Senator Bob Dole carefully articulated the dilemma as far as back as 1989. The temporary employment and contract service companies like Kelly Services are among the largest employers in America. Kelly Services, for example, has over 750,000 temporary and contract employees with whom they arrange temporary employment as they get employment contracts from businesses. Why should I make such a video? The word needs to get out, and people need to understand and know why things are as they are.